obviously these are not in cold blood, these are picture books, but the idea that nonfiction could be compelling. It didn't have to be a dry, boring, and long. And textbooks can be terrible. They tell you the date, they tell you this. And I never connected to history when I was growing up. And I did very well in it, but I did not connect to it. And when my friend told me that he lived in Setauket and a woman had been hanging her petticoats for spies for George Washington, that blew my mind.
But see, that's it. It's the people stories.
Yes.
And if the history was written or taught more from the standpoint of the stories of the individual people.
Yeah, well, I mean, and Long Island came into play with me because I didn't know we were involved in the war.
A whole bunch of stuff happened here.
No, and no one taught me that. I grew up here, and I said, well, I don't know why nobody taught me this, so I started investigating. And of course, the whole perspiring has gotten a lot of, sexiness to it lately with the show Turn, but in reality, they were not that sexy. They were, and my book, well, the first book is By the Sword, and it's about Benjamin Talmadge, who ran the Spiring from Long Island, about his first experience in war and how he didn't want to hurt another human being. I found his memoir. I mean, it wasn't hard to find. It was in the library, but it's not like I uncovered it. But I was researching the spies, and you can't get any information about spies from him. He was a good spy. But so I wrote a whole book based on a couple of page from his memoir, saying how he was at the Battle of Long Island and they lost, and George Washington retreated them to safety. And then he didn't want to kill anybody because his father was a minister. And then in the end, he returns and saves his horse's life. It's so beautiful. I love this story as much today as when I discovered it, probably around year 2000. And that's so when you don't get sick of it by now. It's a good book. And then I wrote about the spies, which I'm redoing now. I actually wrote a screenplay and a graphic novel I'm working on.
Graphic novels, by the way. I don't know if you probably are aware of this, but they're turning Shakespeare into graphic novels.
Yes. I'm all for it. I'm a bit of a purist with Shakespeare, but I think anything that gets kids to read, amazing.
That's my feeling.
Yeah.
Because I tell parents that when I was teaching, they would come up on parent night, and I would say, do they read? My first question, I said, if your kids don't read, you have to get them to read something.
Yes.
I don't care what. It can be a car magazine. I don't care what it is, but reading is the key. It does something to your brain that enables you to reason better.
Yes.
To think better.
Yeah. It's so true.
It is.
You can create. It really just stimulates you. It's amazing. But so then I wrote about Washington and Lafayette because I was interested in their relationship. I didn't understand why this French guy was always around, and everything was just based on questions that I had. And so my next one's coming out about George Washington and Benedict Arnold, because he was his.
Benedict Arnold was really he was a patriot until he wasn't.
Benedict Arnold really was a sociopath. That's really what
he was probably very much out for himself.
Very much, and you can be a great general when you don't care about who you kill, And but what I'm interested in is this. It's true. And what I'm interested in is the psychology of things.
Yeah.
So what made him do that? Not only betray the army, but betray Washington personally. He was going to hand him over to them.
Yeah.
So I really am very, very interested. Again, why do people hurt each other? You see, it all comes down to that.
That's the what I see as the transition to a book like Melt is the psychological aspect, trying to figure out what goes on in people's minds, what motivates them, why they do the things, why they hurt each other.
Yeah.
So.
And my characters are very interior. I didn't say it's dual first person, so it's told from both points of view. So you're getting a really inner look at the family from Joey, but Dorothy.
I like that.
Yeah, I love doing the dual first person, and now I've got even the second book has multiple voices.
So tell us about the second book.
Well, Signs of Life.
Hold it up like this, and there you go.
Okay, Signs of Life is the sequel, and it revolves around William Faulkner's As I Lay Dying, where the first one was The Wizard of Oz, and that is to say, it's not a retelling. You don't want a retelling of As I Lay Dying, I don't think, but it reflects on the ideas of these things. And I couldn't use quotes from As I Lay Dying because they're very litigious in the Faulkner estate, but I used quotes from William Faulkner about the process of writing it. And in this one, there's quotes from Wizard of Oz. And
that's a very interesting and clever literary device.
Oh, thanks. I can't take credit for, I guess I can, but a voice told, this is really crazy, but a voice told me to get The Wizard of Oz, and it was the voice well, it didn't tell me what to do, but it had me open the pages, and I realized that so it was like some part of me telling me, there's a real spiritual, mystical part of it that I don't understand, and it terrifies me, but I'm so grateful for it.
Yeah,
you know, and
I believe that. I believe that there's a spiritual aspect that is directing me to in my books. I find that.
Yeah,
and maybe it's the people who have been in my life who are, in a better place. I should say in a richer place.
Yeah, maybe.
But I mean, by richer, I mean they know more. They have more wisdom.
It could be.
Maybe that's the direction.
Maybe it's like Shakespeare or something with me. I don't know. Maybe Faulkner. Well, let me tell you, Faulkner, his use of voices in As I Lay Dying was stunning. Stunning. Just to get the pain, the feeling, oh my gosh, in so few words. So I did the duel in there, and then this one, it's mostly Joey and Dorothy, but it has other people. It has a lot of surprises. It's hard to talk about this, although one reviewer felt no qualms with giving away 3/4 of the book. Don't you just,
yeah, but you find some reviewers do that, and why bother about it? You just
and it's not the plot so much, but how you write it. So when you say da-da-da-da, it just sounds like a soap opera or something, but when you have some finesse, hopefully, you're trying to layer it. It's different, but in any case.
So what's the basic idea?
Well, this book ends with a really dramatic moment, and it is clear what happens, but not to the last line. So people just wanted to know what I thought. It was good. I thought, well, I'm kind of in the opinion of, well, think of your own. If you want to continue on, whatever you want to think. But people wanted to know more. I don't know if it's the society the way it is, but they want to know specifically what happened. So I thought, all right, what did happen? And when I started thinking about what happened, I started oh my, a lot of other bad things happened. And it really revolves around, I came back to, when I was a kid, someone inappropriately took me to see the movie Coma when I was 10. And I think I was 10. And I was so upset by the idea of people being, put into comas, and that, they wanted to kill them for their organs.
Yeah.
And then, I don't know why, but it came back into my head, and then I started researching, and there's a book called The Undead, and it's true that this harvesting is crazy. Okay, it's a lot, and I always told my kids, don't be organ donors because they'll just kill you. So that's it was kind of a joke almost, but not quite. And so that's in here. Okay, and I can't tell you more.
Don't tell us anymore. You're just gonna expound on this. So we have about a minute left.
Oh, okay, wow.
So give us some advice for new writers, old writers, any writers.
I would say keep writing is the number one thing. Don't let a day go by, no matter how tired you are. You must continue to write, and it just gets better. It just don't listen to critics. Just listen to yourself, and the most important thing is to actually put the pen to paper, put the fingers to the computer. Never give up, and I think that's the most important.
Yeah, I would add to that, and keep on reading.
Reading too. Reading
good books, good authors, and it enriches your own background.
It really does. It really does.
And I think reading I know reading has made me a better writer. And
oh yeah. Well, reading is what inspired me to write. I mean, absolutely. Yeah.
So it was great having you.
Oh, thanks so
Selene.
much.
Thank you.
Thanks.
So that was interesting. I like the idea of the graphic novel, though.